We we in a state of war, baby. We dominate, conquerors. By the way, I made a post on my website. It's called Oration. If you want to check out some of my pen game. Um, yeah, man, it's time to eliminate the threat, you know. We've been taking it easy. You know, I feel like we're in times where back in the days, right? People will go to war, you know, and a lot of the soldiers many times didn't know what they were fighting about. You know, it'd be like one or two, you know, in the whole army. They start questioning it in the midst of firing and killing people. They be like, damn, what is this worth it? Is this what's this about? Like, are we the good guys or the bad guys? That was like there was some scruples, you know, told and seen, passed down. But I don't think there'd be any scruples in this time go around. Like, if I was in the army, I know what I was fighting for. You know what I mean? Like, I know the threat and everything. You know what I mean? Because I guess the internet and everything, you know, information is right there. But before, people used to fight and they didn't even really know. Now I don't think any Americans would question should even be in draft. Like, if there be a draft, I think there'd be a lot of volunteers. You know, like, hell yeah, we wanna help with this process of getting rid of this shit. You know, people are hungry. You know, trigger finger happy. You know, delighted to get rid of this. And there will be no scruples about it. You know, luckily for them, you know, it's just all airborne and, you know, seaboard or whatever. But if it came down to it, man, I feel like people will volunteer in the millions, you know, and would be happy to join the forces, you know. But you know, hey, I like this comeback about AB. He's not ready yet, but it's a good story. I like it, man. You know, people like seeing comebacks, you know, that anybody can do it type of stuff, you know. And I'm chilling. It's happy Friday, everybody. You know, I'm just thinking, before this thing spreads any further, we need to cut it by its roots. Cut it by the roots, and you know, so it don't grow no more. New things is gonna come about it. You know, I just recently saw that, I don't know if it was AI generated or something, but before the concept of it, I was talking about it. I was like, man, I would like to see the stars or constellation from the point of view of Mars or any of these other planets, you know? Because so far, you know, the stories and the myths and the legends we've built is from the point of view of Earth sky, you know, and we already mastered that, you know. I think, you know, if there's so much galaxies, right? I think that we were not meant to be like all in the same place. Like there's a planet and galaxy for each and every one of the people on this earth. If you so want to be in your own galaxy, you know. But it's not like you have to be around other, you know, sapiens and stuff when you could go and have your own planet in your own galaxy. And, you know, people are now starting to see that with the whole James telescope, you know. That shit is opening the eyes of people like never before. And my galaxy's on the far end of this shit, but now I see that, you know, we could just have our own place. And it'll be presented down the line when we evolve and, you know, hit like a different type of civilization where our thoughts will start thinking different, you know, and it'll be presented like a pamphlet, like which galaxy or planet do you want to possess, and then you'll be like, oh, I want that one. All right, now you can go there, but before you go there, make sure you got a lot of supplies. You're gonna need some shit from the hardware store, you know. Oh man. Yeah, so yeah, man, let's eliminate that, you know. The times are changing, new pathways, and you know, when it all started, you know, they started measuring themselves. You know, I got my own thoughts on how ancient civilization was formed, and you know, the beginning started, and it's an old story, and where it originated, right? It started getting flooded with foreigners. And what happened was these foreigners slowly distracted the originators, and the originators forgot how to interpret their own technology, because they were polluted by all this other distraction. And so it's happening again, you know. You know, these cycles tend to happen right under your nose, and it spreads like communism, cloaked under religion, sometimes, or you know, Islam. And happy Friday, man. Yo, this comeback, right? I think it's necessary for people to be motivated and inspired. I've been working out myself. I'm starting to look at these cats in the videos, like Ryan and, you know, AB, and I'm like, man, I feel like I got a chance. Man, I always felt like I could go the distance with Mayweather, man. You know, he might win just, you know, points or nepotism or favoritism or some shit, you know what I mean? But I know he won't knock me out. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty good, you know? And this is the untrained version. But if I'm training, I think I'm gonna be a problem. But there's a lot of underground and hidden talent out there, and there's a lot of people better than me and you, and they just don't get noticed. But yeah, man, there's some phenomenal people, and you should stay hungry. Don't lose sight of that, because some people discover a gift, but then they get bored after a while, and they let those gifts die down. And that's where I think people go wrong, because you should never get bored of your gifts. I've been reading, I've been keeping the mind busy. I made a couple of tracks. It's a lot of them that are unreleased yet, but I'm still in the streets hustling. I sold a book the other day and some sneakers. They selling slowly, but they selling. And I'm getting offers about my book deal and shit. And it might be a possibility where I might have to tour. I might have to tour and go to your town. But I'm gonna wear a mask. I think I'm gonna create a pseudo name. Nah. It's gonna be like a Z instead of an S on my chest. Anyway, yeah, we've been taking it too lightly with this whole war thing, like going back and forth with the talks. I think we're in a position now where we don't need to talk, man. We just need to do it, and they got to get online, because these are sick people. I mean, they like, homosexuals. They like just all types of abominations, too even disgusting to name and stuff. And then yeah, the world is changing, and since it is changed, it's only right that you create from a clean slate. So this go around, you're advantageous in a good position where you could lead, but you gotta be hungry. Let's not forget. I think our culture as Americans is only beginning. Well, I mean, we created all the sports, right? Baseball, football, basketball, hip hop. We created all of that, but I don't think it's gonna end just there. I think it's just growing and growing, and new ideas are being flourished where it's all gonna happen in the USA, made in America type of stuff, I think we're creating real heroes. I mean, growing up, these like Spider-Man, Superman, these were fantasies. But I think more and more, it's becoming more probable reality. And time traveling, quantum jumping, and parallel universes. all of that is becoming more understandable as the days go on, you know. And we're sort of like wizards. Did somebody just take a picture of me? So yeah, we're like warlocks and shit. And another thing that I know, but scientists are just still catching up, is we don't need the sun. We don't need the sun at all. Like, everybody's thinking we can't survive, but I beg to differ. I don't think we need the sun. I think we've been misconstrued and led to believe that it is important because you see light and there's day, but we are the creators itself, and we could wield the forces of the universe as you know it to the way we want to. Like these kind of thoughts, it's okay. You could just keep going, but these are the thoughts that come from someone who is original. So we don't. Oh, and then the thing, we don't need the moon. So everybody thinks without the moon or the sun, we die or something. And I tend to believe that we don't need neither of those things to survive. Maybe in the current conditions, yeah, but we can also alter that. And so yeah, people just need to catch up. The scientists and all these people still, working on this counterclockwise. They need to go clockwise instead of counterclockwise, like the Earth is, going around the sun. That's just the way that I talk. Vocabulary spills. Vocabulary spills. I'm ill. That's just the way that I talk. So, alright. Thanks for tuning in. I made this long enough. I just, throw these little journals and notes every now and then. To keep the people or whatever it is on that side more aware of their surroundings. And I'm about to be more aware of my surroundings.